volunteer and see anywhere that a child would be, we see and make sure that there's no safety concerns or issues related to the volunteer's home before we'll ever match them. So, and then ongoing, it's not like we make the match and then send them on their way and never hear from them again. We are very involved with the matches. We're getting in touch with the little and their family every month. We're getting in touch with the volunteer every month, asking child safety questions, assessing how the relationship is developing, if it's benefiting the child, what we could do to better support the volunteer, or what the volunteer could be doing better to support the child. There's a lot of collaboration between the match and our staff.
So that reporting, is that done from the volunteer to you, or do you go assess and report for the paper trail?
No, we contact them. So we contact the volunteer every month and the family every month for what's called a match support contact. It's about a 20-minute phone conversation or done in person depending on the logistics, where we talk with them and again we check with the family, and so it's just a check and balance to make sure that there's consistency. So if, for instance, if the child says, we got together 9 times this month and the volunteer says we got together twice this month, it's a red flag.
Yes.
We're going to find out why is there inconsistency. So there's steps, there's balances like that we keep in place to constantly monitor. But if a volunteer ever has a question or a concern, or they just don't know what to do, or you know, kids are hard. Kids are really difficult, and you can be an experienced parent or grandparent or teacher and still come across a situation that you've never encountered before with a child. So we really want to support volunteers in making the match enjoyable and successful for them. So if a volunteer ever has a problem or a question, they can contact us at any point during the month. It doesn't have to be just their scheduled contact.
Good. Regarding the volunteers, Joan, are there things, you touched on a few things that you've done with your little. Are there other things that you've done in the past or that you're looking forward to do, or that you've heard that other people have done? Or is it more just kind of spending that time together? I mean, I guess what I'm asking, is it the event or the happening, or is it more of the time shared, or a mixture of the both? How do you?
I think it's a mixture of the both. We've talked about maybe taking more road trips to explore New York more, or antiquing. She likes to go antiquing, so we're thinking about going different places just to look, and I can instruct her about that kind of stuff. But I think it's more of the relationship. She trusts me, and so I think I'm helping her evolve into a young lady, and I hope I am.
Sure you are. So how do they, Kate? How do they find you? How would someone who's listening or watching, going, they're putting the pieces of the puzzle together and saying, there might be something here. There might be something that I might be able to do. How would they find you? What are some contact information that you could send folks to?
Certainly. Well, they can come to our office and knock on our door, and I'll be there, happy to see them. Our office is in Towanda. It's at 10 Park Street, Suite 2 in Towanda, which is like an hour away. So I don't recommend that you make the trip. Make a phone call. It takes 2 minutes of your time. It's free. Make a phone call and talk to one of us. I'm in the office. We have case managers who are more than happy to talk with volunteers to determine if it's a good fit, to answer questions. Call at any time. And 570-265-3009, and probably you could put that in the show notes or something, but there's our phone, there's our website. Go online, it has tons of information, www.bbbstwintiers.org, or go on the national website, which is bbbs.org. It's very easy to remember. And Big Brothers Big Sisters of America, they have tons of information on their website, ideas for what volunteers can do with their littles. Some statistics on the outcomes. If you're not sure, is this really worth it? Does it really make a difference? I mean, it sounds good hypothetically, but is there any proof that this is making a difference? And the answer is yes. There's 100 years of history. It's an evidence-based program, so there's empirical evidence, there's professionally done assessments and measurements and surveys and studies that have been done for decades that show that yes, in a measurable way, this is making a difference. And if you're like me and you like those numbers, go online and look them up. But yeah, the website is certainly a great resource. We have an email. I would say if you're thinking about it, if you're on the fence, give us a call. We would be more than happy to talk about what the commitment looks like and if it's a good fit for your life. Or if you're like, yeah, I'm ready, go online, fill out an application, and one of our case managers will be in touch in just a couple of days to set up an interview.
Right.
So.
I do want to echo the idea of the local website and the national website. I've been to both, and they're tons of information. You could spend a lot of time there, but really, really good information that they share with that. So, Joan, I'm interested in asking you this question, wanted to since the beginning of the show. How has this affected your life? I mean, you're in the trenches. You raised your hand and said, "Here I am." How's it affected your life?
It's affected it in a very positive way. The older I get, I realize that relationships really do matter, and they matter even more for children. And just the joy I get back from my little girl. She's my little sister. It just brings me great joy, and I think that I radiate that to other people. But I love it, and I encourage anybody to do it if they have the love for children.
Yes. And what about yourself, Kate? Where you sit now, you've been at this a little while and such things. How has it affected you from where you're sitting?
Good question. So when I was working in therapy, I was working with a little girl, and in mental health, I was working with a little girl, and it became apparent to me that this little girl didn't have problems. She just needed somebody to be there for her. There was nothing the matter with her other than she just needed an adult to say, "You're doing okay, you're fine, you got this," and to be present and to be affirming. And the more I did therapy with her, the more I realized that was the issue. And so one day I said to her, who do you have in your life that you look up to? And these big crocodile tears started to come, and she said, "No one." And I knew she was right. I knew she was telling me the truth. She had no one. And so in that moment, it was like, that was shortly thereafter that I applied to Big Brothers Big Sisters, because I realized so many of these kids, this is all they need.
Yes.
And it's not that they have bad parents or that people don't care about them. It's just, it's hard to be a parent. And they say it takes a village. It really does.
Yes.
And kids, in a lot of ways, your parent can tell you something and your big sister can tell you the same thing, and you're going to take it from your big sister, and you're not going to take it from your mom. It's just the way it is.
Yes.
So it's not that their families are necessarily dysfunctional or anything like that. It's just that kids need support, and a lot of these kids have all the potential and just need somebody to draw it out. So for me, it's been to see these matches and to meet people like Joan and to meet her little sister and see what it's doing both for the child and for the volunteer.
But
wonderful.
you're right, it's all about relationship. Life is all about relationship, and we so often say that children and youth are our future. Well, yeah, but they're here now.
Yes.
They're very much part of the present.
That's right.
Well, I want to thank Kaitlyn Hoeflein, who is the Executive Director of the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of the Southern Tiers, and Joan Puls, who is a volunteer Big Sister. Thank you for being with us today. This has been a wonderful education. We only have about a minute or two left, and I just want to allow some time for you for any final thoughts, any pearls of wisdom, anything you want to share with our listeners and viewers. I'll start first with you, Kate. Anything else that you want to leave our fine folks with?
Oh, if you look around and see in the world and in the community that there's a need for a positive change, this is the way to do it. To invest yourself today in our future. And you're right, these children are our future, but they're very much our present, and the investment happens right now. And it's an easy, rewarding, fun way to do that. I say it's a win-win. So if you're thinking about it, if you're on the fence, just call us and we'll persuade you that is the right thing to do.
I do want to share that Kate will also be at the Endwell United Methodist Church on October 8th to promote this program also at both the 8:15 and 10:30 worship service. So if you want to get some more information and connect maybe with Kate personally, you could do that at that time also. Joan, final words of wisdom for our listeners and viewers.
I don't know about wisdom. I echo what Kaitlyn said. Please call. We especially need Big Brothers desperately. Big Brothers are especially needed, but Big Sisters, I'll grasp onto it. You'll really, really enjoy the program. It'll mean a lot to everybody.
Yeah. Well, I thank you both for your commitment. I thank you both for the passion that was absolutely very real here today, and I'm sure is every day. And this is just a vital, important ministry, and I ask blessings upon it, and we'll continue to pray for it. And hopefully a lot of the people that have been listening today will say, here I am. I'm going to find out more about this. So thank you both for spending this time together. And I want to thank all of you, all the listeners and viewers who have gathered today. And I hope that this was beneficial in finding out more about the big brothers and big sisters of the Twin Tiers. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I ask God's blessings upon it. Thank you.